Hi everyone, I'm Susan Mulvihill and welcome back to my garden on this glorious spring day. Today I'm planting carrots and parsnips. Both of them are from the same plant family and so they have the same requirements culturally. So everything I'm going to tell you today applies to both of them. The first thing that I did is I prepared the soil. You know, carrots and parsnips are a cool season crop. They can be planted in the spring as early as your soil is dry enough to be worked with. So I loosened the soil to a depth of about 12 inches using this spading fork. I added in a little bit of shredded leaves. I did not add in anything that's high in nitrogen like a manure because that can make the roots of carrots and parsnips split and fork, so you don't want that. But I did add in some bone meal because that is high in phosphorus and that's what root crops like carrots and parsnips need. So let me show you how to plant them, and I've got a really great tip for you to get the best germination possible. This year I'm planting Andover parsnips and 4 different varieties of carrots: Mokum, Red Core Chantenay, King Midas, and Tendersweet. If you've never grown parsnips, you owe it to yourself to try them. The roots are very sweet and absolutely delicious in soups, stews, and casseroles, or roasted in the oven. This is what parsnip seeds look like. They're kind of cool, don't you think? They get planted 1/2 inch deep. And here's an example of carrot seeds, which should be planted 1/4 inch deep because they're smaller. I initially plant all of the seeds 1 to 2 inches apart in long rows, knowing that I'll want to thin them later so all of the plants are eventually 3 to 4 inches apart. Once the seeds are planted, I lightly cover them with soil and then pat the soil with my hand so there is good contact between the seeds and the soil. Next, I water them in well, being careful not to disturb the seeds. If you're growing more than one type of crop or variety in a bed, be sure to label what you've planted. I always think I'll remember, but experience has told me that it's better to use row markers. Okay, now here is the special tip I wanted to give you. Carrots and parsnips are slow to germinate, sometimes taking up to 3 weeks. If you just plant them and cover them with soil, a crust will often form on the soil surface, making it difficult for the tiny seedlings to break through. So once you have watered in your seeds, place boards over each row. I know this looks weird, but bear with me. Leave the boards in place for 1 week, then remove them. What the boards have done is prevent a crust from forming on the soil, and you'll get much better and quicker germination if you follow this step. I learned this tip from a fellow master gardener several years ago, and it works great. The last thing I wanted to remind you to do is to thin your carrot and parsnip seedlings once they have their true leaves. Those are the fern-like leaves you see in the photo. And once the seedlings are about 3 to 4 inches tall. They should be spaced about 3 inches apart. Carrot and parsnip seedlings do not transplant well, so it's best just to pull up the seedlings you don't need and toss them into the compost pile. While thinning the seedlings is a bit tedious, it is absolutely essential for getting large roots to develop. I cannot emphasize this enough. I hope your carrots and parsnips grow great. Happy gardening!